It seems to me, Minister, that of course the state was stretched to find accommodation quickly, and you did what you could, and you're to be commended for that. And so are the people who provided accommodation. But 2 years later, to not have something more systematic in place and to have such a lack of checks of the accommodation being provided is scandalous, because throwing money at a problem is understandable at the start, but to be still throwing money at a problem without a plan 2 years later is not understandable, and it is not acceptable. I'm aware of direct provision centres, that there is, and I don't really want, I have to be careful not to conflate direct provision centres with centres that accommodate beneficiaries of temporary protection, because of course they are two different things. But the lack of oversight from your department in both is similar. There are inspections, as my understanding, that are being carried out with a view to determining that they meet build regulations, safety regulations, etc. And that is to be commended. Of course these inspections are important. But so too are inspections that determine how many people are staying in a facility that the state is paying a lot of money for. Deputy Tobin just highlighted the amounts that are being offered in respect of one particular hotel. I wasn't aware that they were that high. I fear for you that other hotels that are offering accommodation for less will now say, well, if you're prepared to pay that amount in Drogheda, you can pay that amount in Listonvarna or in Killarney or in Glentees or wherever. But in any event, what supervision is there of occupancy levels? Because I've been asking this, and this is separate to what I want to find out from you in topical issues, but I've been asking this, and it is clear from the information that I have received that up to now there is next to none. That yes, facilities are inspected, but they are inspected before people arrive by and large, or if not, if they haven't been inspected before they arrive, they're inspected after people arrive. But that inspection by its nature must be to make sure that they are safe, that they comply with build regulations, etc., rather than that the occupancy levels are provided to the department by the providers themselves. Now, many of these providers are reputable businessmen, upstanding citizens, and I don't wish to suggest otherwise. But like all groups of life, there are rogues in there. And of course they're going to say, full house, everyone's happy, send us the cheque. And what I want to know is what is being done to root them out. Because I'm aware of a hotel, Minister, where 20 nights have been paid for every night since this crisis began. And there were never more than 11 rooms occupied. And at some times of the year, that hotel is in a position to resell the room on the open market, that the state is already paying for. That is unacceptable, and a lack of a mechanism to carry out inspections and to catch people who do that is unacceptable when it comes to the expenditure of exchequer funding. Thank you.
I believe we've already seen since Christmas a decrease in the number of Ukrainians seeking temporary protection in Ireland, quite significant, and we are going to see vacancies occurring in our Ukrainian accommodation, and that does occur now, and that's why we really haven't added to our stock of Ukrainian accommodation in the last 2 or 3 months. We've been able to house new people who arrive through vacancies. And as the new system applies, and as Ukrainians move, whether it's either into private accommodation here in Ireland, or indeed moving back to Ukraine or moving elsewhere in the EU and the world, we will see more vacancies in our hotels that our department have contracted, and our department will be actively looking to manage that and actively looking to step away from contracts, because we want to be responsible with the payment of state money, and we want to be in the position where we can release accommodation back, particularly into the tourism sector. So we are just about, as I say, this piece, and the piece Minister Humphreys has been working on, is essential towards the implementation of the new policy. And once the new policy is implemented, we will look at the at how we start to consolidate our existing very significant stock of accommodation contracts. And we have already, where we've evidence of people overcharging us or charging us for vacant nights, we've moved away from them. We've moved away from a significant amount of accommodation around the country, and we'll continue to do that. And when we're consolidating, providers that we have a challenge with will be some of the first sets of contracts to be ended. But I will say, particularly on the international protection side, and I know you've put in a significant number of parliamentary questions, we are extremely scrutinous of occupancy rates in our existing international protection centres, because I can't stand over a situation, which is right now, that there are over 900 people unaccommodated, that we're at risk of not being able to accommodate all families. And I couldn't stand over a situation where there are significant vacancies in our international protection accommodation. Now, in almost all, particularly family-owned family accommodation, the numbers in a room and the numbers in a family don't match. So it does create a disparity, and you've called that out. But I am confident, having gone back to my department many times, because it is far easier I'm finished on this, Count Corla. It is far easier in very practical terms, rather than to be opening somewhere new, to ensure all our beds in existing places. So there is no reason that we wouldn't, if that easy win was there, we would take it, and we have taken it. But I am strongly reassured by my department that where there is a variance between total occupancy and current occupancy, it is due to family configurations, not that there are beds lying vacant over the place, and I'm strongly reassured by my officials on that point.